And what if I told you that millions of Christians have been taught how to talk in prayer, but nobody ever really taught them how to enter prayer? Because what if, just imagine this, the greatest mystery of prayer isn't your words or your declarations or your spiritual intensity or even your requests, but the one thing modern Christianity pretty much forgot to do before we even open our mouths. And there's a reason for that emptiness people feel. There's a reason folks pray for hours and still feel like they never touch the depth of God's presence. There's a reason some prayer meetings get loud, but never get deep. And Jesus, he already told us something huge. Your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Think about that for a moment. Really think. If he already knows, then why do we start prayer like we're updating him on our situation? Why do we think the first step is information? Somewhere along the way, from biblical spirituality to modern church culture, the church lost something precious. We held on to the language of prayer, but we dropped the posture of prayer. We learned how to talk before God without ever learning how to actually stand before God. And listen, when you really dive into scripture, not casually, but deeply, you start seeing something shocking. The people who encountered God most powerfully, they didn't begin with talking. Moses didn't. Isaiah didn't. Abraham didn't. John on Patmos didn't. Before the words came, something else always happened first. An awareness. Something modern believers, man, they skip this part completely. There was an awareness, a trembling, a presenting, an arrival into divine presence. See, the ancient Hebrew mind understood something the modern church kind of forgot. You don't just rush in talking nonstop like prayer is some casual conversation. No. In scripture, prayer was an approach before it ever became speech. And that's why one of the most repeated phrases in the Old Testament wasn't speak before me, it was appear before me. Yeah, appear before me. That one line can flip your whole understanding of prayer. Not perform before me, not impress me, not inform me. Just appear. Present yourself. Be conscious of who you're standing in front of. The Hebrew scriptures talk over and over about seeking God's face. The word is panim, face, presence, countenance. That's why David said, seek his face continually. Because the face of God, that's presence, that's nearness, that's divine attention. Seeking his face means turning your whole being toward him before you even think about asking for anything. But today, a lot of believers go straight for God's hand before they ever seek his face. We turned prayer into noise, into nonstop activity, into talking, and we miss the very first movement of real prayer, becoming aware that you're standing before the eternal. That's why so many people enter prayer careless, distracted. Minds everywhere, hearts nowhere. Their mouths show up, but their spirits never did. But in scripture, people approached God differently. Moses took off his sandals. Isaiah saw the Lord, and man, he broke. He cried out, "Woe is me." Ezekiel, he saw the glory and just hit the floor. John saw Christ and collapsed like a dead man. Because before any words came out, the presence hit them first, overwhelmed them, shut everything else down. And here's the part that gets me. The tragedy is that a whole lot of Christians today have learned the mechanics of prayer, but not the atmosphere of prayer. They know the steps, but not the presence. And this is where the mystery really starts to deepen. Even the Greek breaks it open. That word for prayer, prosochi, that prefix pros, it means toward, facing. Prayer was never random noise. It was direction, intention, movement toward God, positioning yourself before him. Prayer was never just speech. It was approach. And that changes everything. Because if prayer starts with approach, then the first act of prayer isn't speaking at all. It's showing up before God. And this is why the tabernacle had a whole process: cleansing, waiting, sacrifice, reverence, preparation. The priest knew before any petition rises, the man must be positioned properly before God. Even Jesus revealed this. Listen to how he taught prayer. Our Father, relationship first. Hallowed be your name, reverence second. Only after that did the requests show up. Jesus was showing us something deep. Real prayer starts with awareness of God before awareness of need. And maybe, just maybe, this is why so many believers pray and walk away unchanged. They want answers before encounter, solutions before presence, miracles before communion. Listen, let me tell you something with absolute clarity and conviction. Because this right here is the part we've been missing. The deepest transformations in Scripture. They didn't happen because somebody exchanged information or recited facts or tried to sound impressive. No, they happened in the presence of God. That's the difference maker. That's the thing you can't fake. Moses didn't shine because he took notes on a mountain. Jacob didn't get a new name because he memorized a verse. The disciples weren't transformed because they sat through a seminar. They were changed because they stood before him. They walked with him. They encountered him. Presence changes people. Every time. And this is the mystery the modern church has somehow let slip through its fingers. We think prayer is about stacking words. We think it's about passion, or volume, or poetic language. We think it's about informing heaven, like God's been waiting for our update. But that's not it. That was never it. The very first act of prayer is showing up, presenting yourself, standing there long enough for your soul to wake up and realize, I am before the one the angels can't stop worshiping. That's why Romans says it plainly, present your bodies a living sacrifice. Notice what God asks for first. It's not your vocabulary, not your eloquence, not your performance. It's you. Present your body. Present your heart. Present your attention. Present your spirit. Because the first offering in prayer was never your words. The first offering has always been yourself. And honestly, that might be the missing key to real communion with God.